Good morning, my first, second, and probably third graders. We're continuing on with the rabbit week, and I want to show you, this is what I just did with the pre-K 3, 4, and kinders. And I bet you all could tell me exactly how I did it. I started with a hill, then I made an upside down triangle, a U, and so on. You all can look at this and say, I know how to make this peeking up rabbit. So we're going to take him a little bit further today. We're going to add some bunny friends with him, and we're going to do some overlapping to show some depth. Okay? Not depth. This one, I started with a Sharpie, and I wanted to show you all this. This, I'm pretty sure, came from Walmart. It is a notebook of watercolor paper, and it works great for a lot of these projects. So when we draw our bunnies and we want to overlap them, we see that this bunny is in front of his two friends. The hands, the bunny paws, are overlapping what they're holding. This ear is overlapping the one behind it, and so is this one. So instead of just having three bunnies lined up in a straight line, it gives it more visual interest. It makes it look interesting. And it is easy to do. I'm gonna do it with a Sharpie. You could use a black crayon. You could use oil pastels. You all know how to use oil pastels, especially if you want to use the watercolor paper and use watercolors. The oil pastels would be great because it makes that barrier. So this was done with a Sharpie, and see how my color kind of got mixed in. I'm going to use a black crayon today. And because you all probably all have a black crayon at home, even if they're broken and a little stumpy, they're going to work. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to make the rabbit in the foreground first. Do you know why? I'll tell you, and I bet you all know this. What if I were to draw these two first and their ears, and then when I wanted to put this one over top of them? Well, if I used a crayon, I can't erase that part of the ear, right? That's supposed to be behind it. Or I can't erase these sides of the body of these guys when this one goes on top. So we're gonna start with what's in the very front of your picture, or the foreground. So we're gonna draw a nice big tall skinny hill, and we can go ahead, we know it's a rabbit, so we can put two leaf-shaped ears. You can always make the little inside if you want to make a little pink area. You know how to draw an upside down triangle, correct? And we're back to doing our letters, letter U. And whatever type of eye, I think I'll put little Dr. Seussy eyes on this one. Maybe even some eyelashes. I'm pressing hard with my crayon because the harder this line, the more wax of the crayon gets applied, the better your barrier is going to be for your watercolor. It won't go anywhere. So look, more U's. And a couple little straight lines. And if we're going to give this one a carrot, like in this picture right here, we can make a V shape, kind of curve the top. And I'm just going to put a little bit of spiky so I don't go over his mouth. Maybe a couple little lines. So our next bunny is going to be behind this one. So when I draw, I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go all the way down because you don't see that part of his body, do you? Then I'm going to do this ear first. Stop at that roadblock. Jump, go behind it. I'm going to come back down with my leafy shape. I'm not going to draw over it, am I? No, because you don't see it. And then we're going to draw another ear here. So we'll just repeat. Oop, jump again. This one, in my first picture, I had glasses on. We'll give him little straight lines for teeth. Let's give this one glasses. We'll put big glasses on him. Little dots in his eyes. A rabbit wearing glasses. Can you imagine? And his two little U hand, paws. And that one had an egg, so we can put an egg. We can do a dome right there. Come over here. It almost looks like a beach ball, Miss McMurtry. Put some stripes. So the same thing on this side. If you want to start at the top, you can, but you would pretend like, I need to get some paper off this thing. You could pretend like you were starting here and draw that line. Oop, stop right there and put that bunny behind. Let's do smaller ears on this one. Smaller leafies. So look at that. You draw there, but it would go behind it, but you don't even see it. See how this one came out on the other side? This one is tiny. He's a baby bunny. So let's make him a little tiny mouth, and let's give him little beady eyes and little whiskers and those sideways letter U's again, and his paws, and he's got a basket. We could put a basket. Same way as you did the egg, you make a dome, and you come down, make that circle, half circle shape. This time I'm going to make a curved line going across. Now let's get tricky. If you were to make another curved line right here, you could put an egg in it, right? It looks like a basket. But if you make your egg first, then you do your line behind it. Look at that. Your egg is now overlapping the back of your basket. You could draw some lines in here, however you'd like. So when it comes time, well, a little grass, when it comes time to use your watercolor paint, you've got these great borders here, and your paint, if you're careful, basically stays inside that little fenced area that you made using your crayon or oil pastel. Now, I used, on the first one I did, I used a Sharpie. And when I used my Sharpie, it doesn't make that nice waxy border. On this one, and I can show you guys this one, I decided to use the Sharpie, and I used marker to create the color instead of watercolor. So remember, we did a little lesson on using the markers like watercolor paint. The good old Crayola ones, they work the best. I don't know why, but they just do. I've done several experiments. So a little bit of water right on there, and you can move it around. Now, you don't want a ton of water because you don't have those nice borders. And you see what happened? Mine kind of ran into his face, but that's okay. He's been eating on that carrot there, eating on the tops of it. So you can use, if you don't have watercolors and you have markers, go ahead, use those markers. Apply some, and you don't need a ton, but they really work nice with a little bit of water. See how I'm just kind of moving it around? I'm not really scrubbing it, I'm just kind of pushing it around. But the Crayola ones do work the best. So have fun with your overlapping bunnies to show some depth. I can't wait to see what you make, and I will be waiting. Have a good one. Bye, guys. Or should I say peeps?